Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. It's Chuck here. We got a list of 4 properties, and the first one's a really interesting one. It's at 50 Fulton Street, and it's listed for $400,000, and it's not an especially big home. We'll go over the measurements. Now, it also backs onto 60 Mile Creek. We'll talk about that in just a second. It's a 78 by 114 foot piece of property. So inside you've got a main living room, you've got a kitchen with an eat-in, and then you also have what looks like a little bit of a den or a dining room. Now you can see some electric baseboard heating in the bathroom, which is on the main floor. You can see some more of that here. There's no AC in this home because it's basically a 100-year-old shell. Now I assume that that's the back little bunky area, which could be a really handy thing to have. So I think that peach room is actually this thing right here, which could come in. I'm thinking like an older kid or something like that. I don't even know if it has heating or if it's just a summer type of place. All things that could be looked into. 1.5 stories, so you get the pitched roof there. So when you look at the actual measurements, I mean, the second bedroom is 6.5, which is basically me lying down, by 11.55. So it's got some interesting elements here. Tankless hot water heater. They've done some upgrading in here, slate floors. I think the kitchen's a good size. 400 to me, usually when we see these smaller old Milton homes, is the first number starting with a 3, and like we talked about yesterday, even they tend to gravitate a little bit more towards the mid 3s. Now Ravine and everything else, that's fine, but I look at this and I go, okay, let's have a look at 50 Fulton. And so most of downtown Milton is in some kind of a floodplain because we've got 16 Mile Creek going right through here. I do know that there was a home on Oak Street that right here, this one there, I think it was listed a year and a half ago, and there were concerns about that being pretty close to the floodplain. Now this one backs onto 60 Mile Creek, so you're looking at something right here. Now, is there an issue with that? You might run into insurance. I don't know. I mean, the thing about daily homes is that for me to do the deep research on that kind of stuff, it just, I mean, I can't spend all day obviously looking into that, but if you were interested in this home, that definitely would be a question to inquire about. Are there any floodplain restrictions? Are there any issues with insurance if you were to go ahead on something like this? So anyways, it's an interesting home. At first glance, it seems to me just the size of the home, the age of it, 400 seems a bit high, but it also has a pretty good sized piece of land. 573 Holly is relisted, and so this one was, it's been for sale off and on. It was higher prices. Been inside, 35 by 120 foot lot. Not especially huge, but it is a back split, and you've got 3 bedrooms upstairs, 4th bedroom on the lower. They've done hardwood throughout, and when you look at things like new roof, furnace, and water heater, I like to see the actual age. Is it 2 years old? Is it 5 years old? That has an effect. The one thing I remember from this home is that it had a larger than normal kitchen. It was a larger kitchen, and at some point it starts to look like a better deal, and I think at $425 they're starting to get close to what I think is an area where even if someone didn't like some of the things inside the home, they still have a bit of money room to work with. There's also a program, a lot of people don't know about it. It's called Purchase Plus Improvements, and it's a mortgage product. And so what you'd actually do is, let's say a home's listed for $425, but it needed a new kitchen, or at least in your mind it needed a kitchen, a bathroom, let's say, and you wanted to put $25,000 into it. So with a Purchase Plus Improvement mortgage, what you can actually do is you can basically say, loan me the $450 and then bounce the rest back for an improvement, and you'd have to submit your receipts. There's a process to it, but the bottom line is it's almost as if you bought that home with the kitchen for $450. The only difference is that you actually get the money to finish it. Now some people might argue that and say, hey, you know what, I'm amortizing the cost of a kitchen over 25 years. Yes, but you get to keep $25,000 cash in your pocket to use with some other venture. And the nice thing is that it's rolled into a mortgage at 3% versus even a line of credit or a loan, which typically can be higher. So anyways, Savaline is $458, and it looks like a honeysuckle to me, and it looks like it's the extended version with the master upstairs. you can see this little nook here usually means it's the larger elevation. Normally the honeysuckle is about 1650 square feet. I believe this elevation is 1725. And when they first said 2500 square feet of total living space, I thought that seems high. But because the garage is about 200 square feet, there's a disconnect on the size of the level. So in other words, the main floor might be 700 and something square feet, and then the top level could be like close to 1,000 square feet. So what we're finding is the basement resembles much more the main level because they don't excavate under the garage. So there probably is an extra 700 square feet on top of it, which puts you pretty close to 2,500 square feet. And it actually looks pretty nice. There's a little bit of landscaping in the back here. The basement looks like it's been done pretty well. $458 for that much size is not such a bad deal, and it's a relatively new home. There is a washroom downstairs as well, and it's got a really nice open concept kitchen and family room. Now Homes is $589. And all brick, about 28 something square feet. I think they were smart to put it in this range. There's a little bit of upgrading here. It looks like they've upgraded the floors in the dining room. They've got some California shutters. They've changed some of their light fixtures. But overall, it's not a tremendously upgraded home. You've still got those lights that have been around for about 40 years. If you're going to change the light fixtures on the main floor, do it on the upstairs as well. It's probably my top 5 renovations. Kitchens, bathrooms, flooring, paint, and light fixtures tend to be your big 5 highest improvements. They probably could have taken the TV off the floor there, but it actually doesn't look horrible in the pictures. To do California shutters in a home this size is not cheap. I would guess it was probably $6,000–7,000. And then you've got, normally the lots here about 43 by about 88 or so, and this one looks like a 98-foot lot. It's actually a nice sized piece of land. I don't know if they're going to get the money for that, but I think that it's certainly a big benefit for the buyer. And then you've got a kitchen which has nice colors, not tremendously upgraded. And the fact that you might be able to do 4 cars in the driveway, all good stuff. Do you get money for that? People ask me that. Hey, I don't have a sidewalk. Do I get money? Not usually, but it can attract a certain buyer that just can't, that needs the 4 spaces, can't move into a home with 2. Overall, I think $589 is probably not a bad price for this home. They were definitely smart to be under the $600 because above there, without the upgrades, they're going to get nailed. So Norrington is the last one. It's at $659. If you look at where it is, it's basically, I believe it's on the corner of Norrington and Maple. At least Google Maps is saying that. And you've got all this commercial stuff happening. You've got the 401 here. So, bit of a tricky location. I do like the fact that you are close to those commercial establishments. You can walk to the movies and so on. But I don't know if I'd want to be right on the corner of Maple there. And nice open entrance here. And this one sounds like it's about 2,900 square feet. California shutters, similar to the previous one. Obviously, it's further west compared to Homes, which is in the Milton Trails area. The bleached cabinets are a tricky one to replace. To change those cabinets is not an especially difficult thing to do. Replacing is obviously more expensive. What I would say to most people is they are wood cabinets. You can usually paint over them. We see a lot of clients that do it. Go with a darker stain or go with more of a creamy white color. But $615 on this one. I know they've upgraded the flooring in parts of the home, but location's tricky. And the other thing is that you've got homes that are $25,000 less than this, and there's a home on Hearst that sold in the fall. Similar upgrades on that one. It was at $570 something. So $615. I think these guys are really getting slaughtered, especially by the stuff that's hanging in the $620, $630. They're really beating them down. Better streets, more upgrades, so on. So that is the list for today. If you'd like to come meet with us, there's still time, like I said, before Christmas, and even that little window between Christmas and New Year's is a nice time. It's a nice relaxed pace to get together and talk about your plans. So have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.